Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all so much for coming over now. This is definitely one of my favorite bands here, man. The tragic details about Journey. We're back on the grunge channel. Like I said, man, this brother Steve Perry, them vocals, man. So we're going to see what this is about. Again, appreciate all the love and support with you guys watching. Shout out to all the good humans. Link is always in the description. We ain't gonna waste no more time. I almost said peace out. Let's jump right into it.
Journey singer Steve Perry found true love at first sight when he saw his future partner in a Lifetime movie about her terminal illness. In 1977, Journey hired singer Steve Perry as their new lead, ultimately releasing 7 multi-platinum albums in the next 10 years.
Amazing
Easily
voice.
the most successful period in Journey's history, and one that launched a successful solo side career for Perry. It ended when the singer abruptly quit the band to the surprise of his bandmates. But Perry told GQ in 2008 that he had a very good reason for deciding to quit the band: the tragic death of his mother during the creation of Journey's 1986 album, Raised on Radio. So I came home, took care of that, went back, finished the vocals and stuff, and before I know it, we're on tour. And by the end of that tour, I was toast. I hadn't even really addressed or dealt with anything pertaining to that loss, so I was about ready to crash and didn't know it. At the same time, Perry seriously required a break from the tremendous and damaging strain he put on his voice singing Journey songs every night for months at a time. During the Raised on Radio tour, Perry had to resort to doctor-administered shots of B12 and anti-inflammatory agents before heading out on stage. Still, the decision didn't necessarily sit well with the other members of Journey. The band broke up and didn't reunite for nearly a decade. Perry said, "I'm sure they thought, oh, there he goes, solo career, Steve."
Dang.
In 2018, though, Perry expanded on his decision to quit, telling Jonathan Clark that he felt that he needed to separate himself from his band because of mental health issues that he feared were getting out of control.
Man.
How do you walk away from something like that? Well, the only reason I did it was because my passion for it, my actual connection to it, started to become invisible to singing. I thought, what am I? Just a parody of myself now? I'm not connecting to my heart anymore. He went on to explain that the rock
That's
and roll
deep.
lifestyle just wasn't working for him anymore. Back in the days, we used to sometimes party a little bit. It would fill your empty heart for a minute, and when you came off of that, guess what? It's worse. I knew it was gonna upset the
That right there is key, what he just said. Because I feel like that's when a lot of times a lot of these artists may go like the next level with drugs and alcohol and stuff, to help cope and deal with the empty and loneliness. Because it can be very lonely out there. It's one thing to be with someone, and it's another thing to be with someone, if you know what I mean. Very, very important and true.
fans, but I just had to stop.
It was a dream come true for me, and I loved every bit of it. In fact, that was the hardest part, was it was a dream come true.
Journey reunited in 1995. Despite the animosity surrounding Perry's departure and the band's dissolution, it was Perry who instigated the reunion, contacting each of his old bandmates to smooth things over, rekindle friendships, and get them all involved. A year later, the group released Trial by Fire, which featured Steve Perry on vocals. The album notably included the #1 adult contemporary single, When You Love a Woman, and the rock radio hit Message of Love. Journey, with its prime era lineup, was set to tour in support of Trial by Fire. But just before rehearsals were set to begin, Perry suffered a medical emergency on a hike in Hawaii. Perry told GQ, "I got to the top of this hill and I was in trouble. I could hardly walk. I don't know what had happened, but the pain was like an ice pick. I'd had some pain in my left hip area before, but I didn't think nothing about it." After medical tests and consultations with doctors, though, it was determined that Perry needed a complete hip replacement, which would take him off of any Journey world tour. The band took a short hiatus while Perry decided whether to undergo the procedure. He told GQ that he ultimately decided they should do the tour without him, but with one caveat. Call it the J-Boys. Call it anything, but don't call it Journey, because I am going to get this done eventually. Instead, they hired a new singer and hit the road as Journey. Perry never rejoined the group. In 2011, Steve Perry accompanied his friend, filmmaker Patty Jenkins, while she edited a segment of a Lifetime movie about breast cancer when one of the women featured in the film caught his eye. Jenkins agreed to set up a date between Perry and the individual, Dr. Kelly Nash, a psychologist dealing with a breast cancer diagnosis. At the time, she'd been in remission for 8 months, only for the cancer to return to a stage 4 level and spread into her bones and lungs. Perry and Nash hit it off. He wrote on his blog about their profound connection, saying, "I never felt like this before. I had finally found her. She's real and right in front of me." The romance developed in 2011 and 2012 as Nash attended radiation and chemotherapy treatments. 2 months after receiving a terminal diagnosis, Nash died in December 2012. It took another year and a half for Perry to fulfill a promise he made to his dying partner. He told The Guardian, she said, "Promise me you won't back into isolation, because I fear it would make this all for naught." I said, "Okay, I promise."
She knew I wasn't singing in the shower, I wasn't writing music, I wasn't doing any music at all. That's what she was talking about.
In May 2014, he returned to the stage, singing with his friend Mark Everett's band Eels. That led to the creation of Perry's first new album in more than 20 years, Traces. He said, "Doing this has been cathartic for me." In 2012, longtime Journey guitarist Neil Schon was accused of bailing on a Q&A session after a screening of the documentary Don't Stop Believin', Every Man's Journey at the Silver Docks Film Festival. He later explained that he only left so quickly because he couldn't physically handle the event, telling the Washington Post, "I have tinnitus. I can barely hear what the people are saying." Tinnitus is a persistent and sometimes painful medical condition characterized by a regular, if not constant, ringing, buzzing, or whistling sensation. Because tinnitus, and the permanent hearing damage that goes along with it, develops after prolonged and frequent exposure to loud noise, many musicians who've played hundreds of loud rock concerts receive a tinnitus diagnosis. According to Guitar Interactive magazine, Sean has to use special equipment to regulate the volume of instruments both on stage and in the recording studio. Following Steve Perry's second and permanent exit from Journey in the mid-1990s, the rest of the band moved on with a new singer. Steve Augeri, a crooner who could wail in the Perry style with experience leading other bands, including Tall Stories.
He looked like
From
the brother from
1998
Pearl
to
Jam.
2006, Augeri took the stage with Journey and recorded 3 albums with the band until he abruptly quit immediately following a sour performance.
Dang.
According to Melodic Rock, Augeri had difficulty hitting a lot of notes during some 2006 concerts, and before a show in Raleigh, North Carolina, he decided that evening's performance would have to be his last with Journey. He still demonstrated major vocal issues that night, before Journey released a statement announcing Augeri's departure and the arrival of new singer Jeff Scott Soto. Near constant touring had left Augeri unable to sing and almost unable to even talk. He told Rolling Stone, "Everyone thinks of the upsides and the glamour and the sparkle and everything that shines, but the loneliness and the wear and tear, which is a huge part of it for a vocalist. The thing that would kill me was when we'd do 3 nights in a row. We would do 5 shows a week." In 1984, shortly after Make-A-Wish International was created to make a dream come true for terminally ill and very sick children, the foundation contacted the band Journey. A young patient named Kenny Sokolic, coping with cystic fibrosis at a facility in Cleveland, really wanted to meet the arena rock group. Journey keyboardist Jonathan Cain told 117, "We went off to see him. He had no idea how bad he was, but he was dying. We got to spend the last day of his life with him. He passed the next day, and it stayed with me for a long time." When Sokolic died, he was holding a Walkman given to him by the members of Journey, which contained a recording of the then unreleased song, Only the Young. Cain said, "When we did VH1's Behind the Music, I was asked about the most powerful things that happened to me as a member of Journey, and it had to be with Kenny Sokolic on that last day."
We were doing everything in our power not to break down and bawl.
On the band's Raised on Radio tour, Journey opened every concert with Only the Young, played in tribute to Sokolic. Drummer Ainsley Dunbar has played with numerous professional rock bands since he was a teenager, including a stint alongside future Fleetwood Mac members John McVie and Peter Green in John Mayall's Blues Breakers in the mid-1960s. In 1974, he replaced Prairie Price as the drummer in Journey when the band was still in its experimental rock fusion phase. Dunbar would be gone from the group by 1978, when it entered its commercially minded era, going on to play for bands like Jefferson Starship and Whitesnake before heading into semi-retirement in the early 1990s to spend time with his 4 young children. In 1999, doctors discovered a tumor in the brain of the musician's youngest son, Dash Dunbar. Doctors predicted the child would live for about 6 months, while his mother, Ainsley Dunbar's former wife Karen, put together a benefit concert to raise $15,000 for experimental, potentially life-extending treatments. Former Journey member Neil Schon played the show, as did Ainsley Dunbar's New Animals. But sadly, Dash Dunbar died on May 9, 2000. After some early recordings as primarily a jazzy, progressive rock, instrumental focus outfit, in 1977, Journey hired San Francisco musician Robert Fleischman to be its lead vocalist. Just months later, after a single tour as the opening act for Emerson, Lake and Palmer, Journey fired Fleischman and brought in Steve Perry. He'd later sing lead for the band's Channel and Vinnie Vincent Invasion and co-wrote songs for his former cohorts in Journey, including Wheel in the Sky and Winds of March. In 2007, Fleischman married the former Michelle Johnson, but in March 2020, she died at the age of 47, 7 years after a breast cancer diagnosis. Fleischman said in a statement, "Sorry to tell you, my beautiful wife, Michelle Fleischman, passed today. When she passed, church bells from the church down the street played." Following the abrupt exit of lead singer Steve Algeri in 2006, Journey needed a new singer, and it needed one fast. Guitarist Neil Schon found himself on YouTube watching videos of bands playing Journey tunes. He found his musician in Arnel Pineda, a Philippines native who by 2007 had spent years performing in bars and clubs in Manila, singing a mix of originals and covers, notably of Journey songs. A big Journey fan, Pineda took up Schon's emailed invitation to audition in San Francisco, and he got the job despite some initial skepticism from other band members.
I look, I listen, and I'm like, I call him back, kid can sing, great voice, unbelievable. I said, but can he speak English?
It was a lucky twist of good luck in a life that, to that point, was beset by tragedy and economic struggle. Just after he turned 12 years old, Pineda's mother died from rheumatic heart disease. The family couldn't weather the financial impact, and they split up. Pineda told ABS-CBN News that he was homeless and usually lived in a city park. "Sometimes I would sleep at my friend's house where they would give me a small cot and I would be feasted on by mosquitoes." During his period of housing instability, Pineda sampled drugs and alcohol and got addicted. He told TV Patrol World that an ultimatum from his wife Cherry ultimately led to getting clean. "It was my wife who saved me. It was my birthday and we were having fun. I was high on drugs, I was high on alcohol. While Cherry was upstairs, she was packing her bag. When I went up, she told me she was leaving and will have to let me go. So that woke me up." Luckily, Pineda was able to turn his life around in time for the chance of a lifetime, and the rest is history.
Hey, man. Shout out to that brother. Like, again, always go back to this song by Traffic. Then, dear Mr. Fantasy, play us a song. That song, it's like people want to hear the music, but a lot of times they may not know what you're going through or understand. But it's like no matter what, it's like that song is like one of them things like, I don't care what you're going through. Make me feel good. Make me feel better. That's why I give a lot of props to all the artists, because you know, a lot of the lyrics and stuff they sing about come from tragedy, from dark times, from just very, very low moments. And that's how a lot of people are able to relate to them. But it's tough, man. I know when they be writing these songs, they be sitting there crying, and then you got to get out there and perform it. And it's a song that's so near dear to your heart. But like I said, using their platform to connect with people, man, I just... When you see videos like this, you just be like, I mean, you know, people die every day. They do. But as an artist, for you to be dealing with those tragedies and still have to get up there and perform, it's tough. So shout out to them. Shout out to them. Because I remember watching, what was that, American Idol. And that one kid that won was singing that song with, is his name James Blunt? Monsters or something like that. And he was just crying. Yeah, man, it's tough. It's tough. But shout out to the Grunge channel for the video. Again, appreciate you guys coming over and watching, man. Peace out.